So Michael Popok, Legal AF. Well, there was a two-line resignation by federal judge and Trump appointee Joshua M. Kindred, one of two judges in Alaska. And now we know why. It's because he was admonished and censured by in a new report that, although it came out in May, was not released to the public until July 8th, the very day that Judge Kindred took the hint and the requirement that he resign or face further sanctions. It's all because Joshua Kindred decided that he would run his chambers like some sort of perverse Playboy mansion location, talking inappropriately about sex with all of his law clerks and actually compelling at least one law clerk after she left being his clerk to have sex with him. Unwanted sexual misconduct and unwanted sexual behavior. And if that wasn't enough, Kindred was also found to have lied to the Judicial Council of the Ninth Circuit, comprised of the chief judge of the Ninth Circuit, which sits in California and over things like Alaska, and lied to them in the oral argument and in all the proceedings about the investigation into this level of misconduct by Judge Kindred. Even in his own oral argument before the council found that he repeatedly lied to the council about his sexual misconduct and his creation of a hostile work environment in his chambers and courtroom in Alaska. And now Joe Biden is going to have the ability to fill that position. There's only one full-time federal judge left in Alaska right now. It's the chief judge, and there's a senior status judge. They're going to push into to do some coverage, but Joe Biden gets a new position. And does it surprise anybody that a Donald Trump appointee who came out of the Alaska oil and gas industry, where he was a general counsel and got failing ratings as a conservationist in Alaska, would ultimately find a way to get himself fired for terrible examples of sexual misconduct? Does that surprise anybody? It would surprise me if one of Joe Biden's federal appointees, having been properly vetted, turned out to be some sort of disgusting Hugh Hefner type, prowling his chambers, trying to catch female law clerks in his web. Let me read to you, so you don't think I'm just making this up. Let me read to you from the actual report that, again, is dated May 23rd, 2024, but did not become public until as of July 8th. And that's the day, in a two-line resignation letter that I'll read to you, that Judge Kindred thought it was a good idea to step down. When you hear the reasons why, let me just read to you first on page 24 of the filing, where they put together all of the false statements that he made as a judge to the committee investigating his own misconduct, which shows a pattern of deceit, as this committee said. Page 24. Judge Kindred told the committee numerous times that no sexual interaction occurred with this female law clerk after she left and became a federal prosecutor at the Airbnb October 7, 2022. But during pointed questioning by the council, including other federal judges and appellate judges, and when confronted with contemporaneous evidence, that's 700 pages of text messages, he finally admitted that one had taken place. In other words, sexual interaction. They had already determined from more than 20 witnesses, including the victim, that was unwanted sexual conduct. Number two, despite evidence to the contrary, Judge Kindred told the committee that he never engaged in flirtation with a separate, more senior prosecutor, nor received nude photographs from her. He admitted to both in response to questioning by the council. Judge Kindred told the committee that when he and the law clerk were in his chambers in October of 2022, both kisses were initiated by the law clerk. There's chivalry is dead. Blame the victim. Blame the woman for trying to kiss him. When confronted by the council with the same contemporaneous evidence, text messages and testimony of 20 other people indicating that he had in fact initiated the kisses, he admitted that the kisses were mutual. Judge Kindred told the committee that the law clerk kissed him once by his desk and once by the door, and they were sitting down before kissing near the couches. However, he lied about it. He told them that they sat on opposite couches. He mischaracterized the text messages, including often suggesting that the law clerk initiated certain exchanges, and he tried to avoid them. At one point, Kindred told the special committee that he heard through the grapevine that the law clerk had dramatically and intentionally edited the text messages she may have provided as a basis for the accusations, and the panel found this is particularly egregious, considering that he eventually admitted to the council most of the conduct he disputed to the committee, conduct that was ultimately proven by the messages. He also claimed, I'll give you an example. He claimed that when some statements that he made to the female law clerk, that to anybody reading them suggested that there was oral sex involved in his attack on the law clerk. He suggested he had no idea what those comments meant or what the references to oral arguments meant. And he was being set up. All right, look, when you have 22 witnesses against you and 700 pages of text messages, you may have to go. But this guy doesn't take no for an answer. He had this, he knew about this order and certification by the Judicial Council of the Ninth Circuit starting on May 23rd of 2024. And only when he knew it was about to be made public did he resign. Did he resign? And here, let me read to you from the resignation letter. Talk about coward and cowardly. You think, well, maybe this is the moment he's going to fess up and apologize to the victims and apologize for running a frat house inside of his chambers and in his courtroom and subjecting women and men to improper sexual misconduct and ostracizing people that chastised him and tried to get him to stop. You think this would be his great opportunity? No, here's the comments here. And here's the resignation letter. Let me just read it to you in a minute. Here you go. So the press release as of July the 5th is the on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, United States District Judge Joshua Kindred submitted a resignation letter to President Joseph R. Biden. Judge Kindred's resignation is effective Monday, July 8th, 2024. A copy of the resignation letter is attached to this release. All cases that had been assigned to Judge Kindred will be reassigned after 3 o'clock Friday, July 5th, 2024. Again, the special committee told him point blank that as part of the censure under the rules of judicial conduct and other laws that he had violated, that they were demanding his resignation or they were going to impeach him. So he resigned, and here's the resignation letter dated July 3rd, addressed to President Biden. Please accept this letter as formal notice of my resignation from my position as District Court Judge for the District of Alaska. My resignation will be effective Monday, July 8th, 2024. So when we first heard about this on July 8th, that's weird. A Trump appointee just decided to step down. A Trump appointee that had actually helped Donald Trump in dismissing one of those 14th Amendment, trying to ban Donald Trump from the ballot because of his role in insurrection. You know, he dismissed that case on technical grounds. We reported it on the MeidasTouch network and on Legal AF. And then out of the blue, it appeared to us, that's weird. Why is he resigning? I mean, people do resign their federal judgeships more than they used to. It used to be just lifetime appointments, but a lot of people they'll do it for 4 or 5 or 10 years and they'll rotate back out when they're 60 and try to grab a plum law firm partnership somewhere. It happens. But now we know why, with a 24-page investigative report that it's now been made public, and that we get to walk through all the ways he attacked and forced at least one female former law clerk to have sexual relationships with him when she didn't want to, and the way he would have, for instance, let me read this section on page 4, just so you get a little bit more of the color here of what happened here in him creating a hostile work environment in his chambers. This is what the council special committee, this is their findings. The committee's investigation, this is page 4, revealed that Judge Kindred created a hostile chambers environment for his law clerks. Judge Kindred appeared to have no filter as to the topics he would discuss with the clerks. He discussed his past dating life, his romantic preferences, his sex life, the law clerk's boyfriends and dating lives, his divorce, his interest in communications with potential romantic or sexual partners, and his disparaging opinions of his colleagues. He also made disparaging comments about public and political figures, including Sarah Palin, by the way. Some examples of these documents include, quote, I was a huge hit at dinner, partly due to all of the shit I talked about Sarah Palin. I told a Republican state senator to eat a D word, and a senator is worried that I can kick his ass. He has also had, this is the special committee again, he has also had no hesitation in using language that was inappropriate in a professional setting, I would suggest in any setting, such as encouraging his clerks to rate people based on affability, stating that he was not ignorant or telling stories about giving oral sex, the colloquial term for it, in a hot tub. In the few instances where clerks came to Judge Kindred to discuss his inappropriate behavior, they were belittled or ostracized, and in one instance, a clerk left the clerkship. And then, of course, he had a paper trail. He kept the receipts, 700 pages of text messages. Here's from the chief judge of that United States Court for the Ninth Circuit Council. Quote, the judiciary is entrusted to self-govern, and in doing so must hold its federal judges to the highest standards of integrity and impartiality. We take judicial misconduct complaints seriously. When allegations arise, the judiciary conducts a fair and thorough investigation. This is the process seeks to preserve the effective and expeditious administration of the business of the courts. In all respects, this was a serious and sensitive matter. In my role as chief, I will continue to ensure that our judges are held to the highest ethical or highest standards. So now we really got to the bottom of what happened with Kindred. And I'm not failing to report his apology or his public mea culpa, where he said, I'm sorry I did it. I can't believe I did it. It was a momentary lapse. I'm leaving to spend more time with my children or my family or whatever it is. He doesn't even bother doing that. It's a 2-liner. I'm out. See you later. By the way, good luck getting a job in Alaska. Even in MAGA world, I think these findings, well, maybe in MAGA world, these findings will be a badge of honor. I started to think like a normal, moral human being and thinking, well, this will be the death blow to his career. But in that world, I don't think so. He could be considered for the vice president under Donald Trump, for all I know. That is the moral depravity of the other party right now. We don't have 2 equal branches of government or 2 equal parties in this country in a 2-party system. We have one legitimate party, the Democrat or the Democratic Party, as we like to say. And we've got the other thing that has been morphing before our very eyes into something else. It's not a party any longer. Conservatives no longer have a home. They've sold their soul if they remain in the Republican Party. It's just a band of cult leaders who see Donald Trump and his MAGA movement as a path to their own glory. That's all it is. It's not a political movement at all. And so we got to call out these things. I guess the silver lining is that Joe Biden gets another federal judge pick. He's already set the record for the amount that he's gotten up and out and confirmed. He's got a few that are held up, including some friends of mine down in Florida and down in Miami that need to be confirmed. But he's done a yeoman's job of getting the federal positions. He's changed the face of the federal judiciary at the district court level and at the appellate level, not at the United States Supreme Court level. If you want Joe Biden to have the ability to do that, you're going to have to reelect him. There's going to be 1, if not 2 openings when that happens. And so that would be a good, don't fault him for not changing the shape of the judiciary at the Supreme Court level because he didn't have any other opportunities but Ketanji Brown Jackson. Give him another term and he'll get 2 more picks. And then you'll have a 5-4 court, which leans in the other direction and could help fix some of these decisions that have just been made. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, they just made the decisions. Dobbs 2 years ago, the Second Amendment case 2 years ago, the immunity case just 2 weeks ago, 8 days ago. But a new Supreme Court can revisit this quote unquote precedent. They're not super precedent. They just got made. So they'll look for cases to reverse course and change it. I mean, that's what progressives and Democrats and on the parties on the left have to do when they get back in power. So we'll continue to follow it all on Legal AF and on the MeidasTouch network right here. Free subscribe, help them get to 3 million YouTube subscribers and help get that before the November election. I know there's sort of this quiescence that's fallen over a little bit of the people out there that watch us on YouTube, and we got to keep everybody focused and energized and motivated because we're in the home stretch, not the dog days of summer. We got to get through there. We got to rise up and get ready for the November election and do it every day. Every day it matters. And then you could follow this, what I do, on Legal AF, the podcast at the intersection of law and politics. We do it like no other place on YouTube and on the podcast platforms. We call it Legal AF for a reason. Now you know why. It's on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the MeidasTouch YouTube channel, and then on every audio podcast platform you can think of. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.